I ask unanimous consent that the chair be authorized to declare a recess at any time. Without objection, it is so ordered. Without objection, the first reading of the bill is dispensed with, and the mark is open to amendment at any point. Without objection, members have 5 legislative days within which to submit written statements to be made part of the record. So ordered. I will now go to my opening statement and then yield to my friend from the great state of New Jersey for his opening statements. I want to again thank our members for joining us today for this subcommittee markup. And we know there are 2 immutable facts with the President Biden's budget request for fiscal year 2024. First, Army does not have sufficient monies to support their Army modernization strategy. Extensive gaps in the fielding of the future of the Army are resident across the entire budget request, including procurement shortfalls in Abrams tanks, Bradley fighting vehicles, and Paladin howitzers. But this should not be surprising, considering Army budget was reduced from last year and resulted in a 5% reduction in real procurement after being adjusted for inflation. My fear is that the Army's future needs to be significantly scaled back to meet future requirements and deliver the right capabilities is going to continue to eat away at Army capability. And the second immutable fact is that the Air Force is getting smaller because the budget does not support Air Force requirements. We are in a force structure decline that we will not be able to reverse, and this decline hits us at the exact time pontificated by the Davidson window in the late 2020s. The Air Force plans on divesting 801 fighter aircraft and only procuring 345 new F-35A and F-15EX aircraft over the next 5 years. But even worse, I am concerned that this declination may accelerate as future tactical aircraft are expected to cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and inflation continues to bite into real defense growth. It is obvious that we need to change our strategy and our direction. Our zeal for real capability needs to be adequately balanced with our fiscal realities. Unfortunately, this budget request fails to provide both for our armed forces, and worse, accelerates the likelihood of future conflict by failing to narrow the impending window of opportunity for the Chinese Communist Party. The Army needs a new strategy that looks beyond a potential European conflict and focuses instead on fully providing the capabilities required to meet the Indo-Pacific's challenges of distance and depth. One that provides for long-range fires, missile defense, logistics, and communications necessary to fully enable the joint force. And the Air Force needs a dose of budget reality in developing the required force structure needed to be successful in a future conflict. The Air Force must provide long-range sensing, autonomous tanking, and collaborative combat aircraft in the near term. We need to take steps today to reduce risk and increase capacity. Additionally, I'm particularly concerned about the lack of innovation in our energetics portfolio. We are being lapped by China with our own innovations. We need to rapidly change our energetic strategy from one focused on precision strike to one of expanded range and lethality. Improving on the President's budget request, this mark does a good job of balancing risk with regards to expanded Army modernization and our aviation force structure. It supports effort to retire legacy aircraft and accelerates alternative capabilities to exploit seams of battle. It seeks to expand the promise of the fourth offset offered by the collaborative combat aircraft and emphasizes the delivery of capability concurrent with the Davidson window. I think that we have a long way to go to shape the future, and the vision of our military services is at stake. I look forward to rapidly incorporating evolving technology and emerging technologies at the speed of relevance while divesting failing capability. In conclusion, I think this mark has been difficult but provides the right capabilities with the right balance to support our warfighters. This mark is not the result of a single person, but the result of a team working toward a common goal. I want to especially highlight the support of my teammate, Congressman Don Norcross. I continue to be amazed as to what a bipartisan group can do when we are aligned towards a common goal. And Don, thank you so much for your leadership and for all that you've done as part of our effort to make sure we're moving things in the right direction. Our mark is better because of your direct interest and support in your efforts. And with that, I yield to our ranking member, Don Norcross, for his remarks.
Thank you, Chairman. appreciate it, and we should start out with the longstanding tradition that we have in this committee, as we do with all of HASC, of being bipartisan, not just this year, but in literally decades that have gone by. We are where we are because of both of us working together to have a common goal, and that is to make sure our war fighters are properly equipped and we are ready to go at any time. The tradition I spoke about for the subcommittee is a repetition on and off the Hill for strong bipartisan, and it has taken a number of years. The committee marked before us today and those items in the jurisdiction of the subcommittee that we look forward to considering at the full committee next week captures our share of commitment to national security. We continue our close oversight of the department's most expensive and complex programs, including Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps tactical strike fighters, all services rotary wing programs to improve program management, reduce risk, remedy aircraft performance deficiencies, and certainly support the capabilities and capacity to meet current and future needs. The department's manned and unmanned intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, and how we are meeting the combatant commanders' requirements for these systems. We also increase attention on defense counter unmanned aerial system capabilities and continue to watch carefully the Army's ambitious modernization strategy and the Marine Corps Force Design 2030 with its supporting modernization priorities. Critically important to the U.S. as well to our friends and allies around the world this year, we continue to provide a much-needed support for our ammunition and the munitions industrial base. This is an issue upon which Mr. Whitman's predecessor, Vicki Hartzler, and I focused the last few years on, and for which we have made real progress. But the Ukraine situation certainly highlights that we must even work harder to modernize and improve the safety of our ammunition industrial base. We must continue to look for and provide any additional authorities and resources that the department can use rapidly increase the industrial base and capabilities. And of course, we look forward to the recommendation in this year's subcommittee and full committee marks addressing many other policies and programs of this subcommittee and certainly to members' interest. We are a net plus up of over 3%, and that is incredibly important given the risk that we face around the world today. But finally want to thank Chairman Whitman for all the guidance and work that we've done together to help the subcommittee. And also, we couldn't do it without our subcommittee staff, the professional staff members, Jay Valerio, Dave Sinecki, Heath Pope, Michael Curlin, Max Huntley, and certainly working together, we will get this done for another year and make sure our warfighters get the best that we have to offer. Thank you, and I yield back.
Well, Don, thank you, and I agree. The staff has done an incredible job under some pretty trying circumstances. So I want to thank everyone for their incredible efforts, and we have before us today what we have because of the exceptional work by our staff. We will now proceed to mark up H.R. 2670, the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2024. Copies of our subcommittee mark and directive report language were made available and distributed to member offices on Friday, June 9th. Is there any discussion or questions on the subcommittee mark? If there is no further discussion, the chairman lays before the members the text of the subcommittee mark for consideration. Are there any amendments to the subcommittee mark? Hearing no amendments, the question now occurs on the adoption of the mark. So many as are in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the mark is adopted. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Nebraska, Mr. Bacon.
You wanted to say Colorado.
For the purpose of a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move the subcommittee report the mark favorably to the full committee.
The question is on the motion. The gentleman from Nebraska, Mr. Bacon. So many as are in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. A quorum being present, the ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table, and I ask unanimous consent that staff be authorized to make necessary conforming, technical, and clerical changes to remove from the mark provisions that would cause the mark to refer to other committees or would result in additional direct spending. Without objection, so ordered. There being no further legislative business before the subcommittee, this meeting is adjourned.
That was the easiest.